What if everything you were told about success was only half the truth? Work harder, put in more hours, sacrifice sleep, sacrifice fun, sacrifice everything. We grew up believing that hard work alone is the golden ticket to success. But if that were true, why are so many hardworking people still stuck in the same place? Why do some people work 12 hours a day and still struggle, while others work less and earn more? The truth is uncomfortable. Hard work alone doesn't guarantee success anymore. Let's break down why. Problem setup. Have you ever felt like you are doing everything right, but still not getting anywhere? You wake up early. You stay up late. You push yourself harder than most people around you. You keep telling yourself, if I just work a little more, things will finally change. But days turn into months, and months turn into years, and somehow your life still looks almost the same. That's where the confusion begins. Because from the outside, you are doing what everyone said you should do. You are working hard, you are trying, you are putting in effort. So the question becomes, why is it not working? And this is where most people start blaming themselves. They think maybe they are not disciplined enough. Maybe they are not smart enough. Maybe they just need to push harder. So they double down on the same cycle. More hours, more stress, more exhaustion, but still no real progress. And slowly, something dangerous starts to happen. You begin to believe that struggle is normal, that exhaustion is part of success, that suffering is just the price you have to pay. But deep inside, a silent frustration grows. You start noticing something uncomfortable. There are people who seem to be working less, yet earning more, growing faster, living better. And that creates a quiet question in your mind. What am I missing? This is the part nobody explains clearly. Because the truth is, the world has changed, but the advice hasn't. We are still being told old rules in a new system. We are told, just work harder, stay consistent, don't give up. And yes, those things are important, but they are no longer enough on their own. Because today, effort without direction can trap you instead of freeing you. Hard work without the right focus can turn into a loop, not progress. And that's the real problem most people are living in right now. Not laziness, not lack of effort, but misguided effort. So if you've ever felt like you're working hard, but not moving forward, you're not alone. And more importantly, you're not crazy. You're just playing a game that changed its rules. Without being told, the rules were updated. Let's break something important down. Hard work is not useless. In fact, it's still one of the most important traits a person can have. But here is the part most people never hear clearly. Hard work only works when it is applied in the right system. And today, the system has completely changed. There was a time when the world rewarded effort in a very direct way. If you worked more hours, you earned more money. If you worked harder than others, you moved ahead. If you stayed loyal and consistent, you slowly improved your life. It was simple, predictable, linear. But that world no longer exists in the same way. Today, effort alone does not decide outcomes anymore. Because now, we live in a world driven by something else. Leverage. And leverage changes everything. Let's understand this clearly. Imagine two people. Both are equally hardworking. Both wake up early. Both put in long hours. Both are disciplined. But one of them is using outdated methods. They are trading time for money, doing repetitive tasks, working in a system where output is limited by hours in the day. The other person, however, is using leverage. They are building skills that multiply value. They are using digital platforms to reach thousands or millions. They are creating systems, content, or assets that continue working even when they stop. Now ask yourself honestly, who will move ahead faster? It's not about effort anymore. It's about multiplication of effort. Because in today's world, 1 hour is not equal to 1 hour anymore. 1 hour of the right work can equal 10, 100, or even 10,000 hours of impact. And this is where most people get stuck without realizing it. They keep increasing effort instead of increasing impact. They think, if I just work harder than yesterday, I will succeed. But the real question should be, is my work compounding or just repeating? Because repetition keeps you busy, but compounding builds your future. This is why so many hardworking people feel trapped. They are doing everything they were told, but they are doing it inside a system that no longer rewards pure effort. And until you understand this shift, hard work alone will keep feeling like it should work, but somehow doesn't. Now let's go deeper into the real difference between people who stay stuck and people who actually move forward. Because once you understand this, everything starts to make sense. It's not that one group works harder than the other. It's that they understand something very few people ever learn: how to use leverage. Leverage is the force that multiplies your effort. It's what turns small actions into big results. It's what turns limited time into unlimited output. And it's what separates survival from real growth in today's world. Let's break it down simply. There are different types of leverage in modern life. First, there is skill leverage. This is when you develop skills that become more valuable over time. Skills that don't just earn money once, but increase your earning potential again and again. For example, communication, marketing, editing, coding, storytelling, sales. These are not just jobs. They are force multipliers. The better you get at them, the more your same hour becomes worth. Second, there is digital leverage. This is where the world has completely changed. Because now one piece of content, one video, one post can reach thousands or even millions of people. You don't need permission anymore. You don't need a big company. You don't need to be famous. You just need the right idea, in the right format at the right time. And suddenly, your effort is no longer limited by geography or hours. It scales. Third, there is system leverage. This is when your work stops depending only on your daily effort. Instead of doing everything manually every time, you build processes, tools, or routines that repeat results for you. Systems remove chaos. Systems create consistency. Systems allow growth even when you are not constantly pushing. Now compare this to traditional hard work alone. Hard work without leverage is like pushing a heavy cart uphill every single day. You move it forward, but only as long as you are pushing. The moment you stop, everything stops. But leverage changes the game completely. It's like building a machine that keeps moving even after you step away. And this is where the mindset shift becomes critical. Because most people are still thinking like this: I just need to try harder. But the real question should be, how do I make my effort travel further than me? Because in today's world, success is no longer about how much you do. It's about how much your work does without you. That's the difference. That's the gap. And that gap is exactly where most people either break through or stay stuck. Hard work still matters, but hard work without leverage is just effort with a ceiling. And leverage is what removes that ceiling completely. Now here's where things get even more important. Because even when people understand hard work isn't enough, and even when they hear about leverage, systems, and smart work, most of them still don't change. And the question is, why? Why do so many people stay stuck in the same cycle, even after realizing it's not working? The answer is not lack of intelligence, and it's not lack of effort. It's something deeper. It's comfort disguised as effort. Let's explain this clearly. Most people are not actually trapped in laziness. They are trapped in familiar struggle. Because even if their current life is stressful, even if they are exhausted, even if they feel stuck, it still feels known. And the human mind prefers a painful, familiar situation over an uncertain new one. So instead of changing direction, people double down on what they already know. They say things like, I just need to work harder. Maybe next month it will work. Let me try the same thing again, but with more effort. And without realizing it, they enter a loop. A cycle of effort without evolution. Wake up, work, exhaust, repeat. No reflection, no adjustment, no upgrade. And that's the real trap. Because in today's world, staying the same is actually going backwards. Everything around you is changing. Skills are evolving. Industries are shifting. Technology is replacing old methods. Attention is moving faster than ever. But if your approach stays the same, you slowly fall behind without even noticing it. And there's another hidden reason people stay stuck. Instant validation from effort. When you work hard, you feel like you are doing something meaningful. You feel tired, so it must be working. You feel busy, so it must be progress. You feel exhausted, so it must be success. But feelings can be misleading, because effort gives emotional satisfaction in the moment, even when results are not changing in reality. So people confuse feeling productive with being productive, and that confusion keeps them locked in the cycle. Another reason is fear. Not obvious fear, but subtle fear. Fear of starting over. Fear of being a beginner again. Fear of trying something where you are not instantly good. Because hard work in a familiar path feels safe. But smart work often requires stepping into discomfort first. Learning new skills. Changing direction. Letting go of old identity. And most people are not willing to go through that temporary uncertainty. So they choose the safer option. Just work harder where I am, even if where they are is not where growth happens anymore. And slowly this becomes a lifestyle, not because they don't want success, but because they keep choosing the familiar version of struggle over the unfamiliar path of change. That is why so many people never escape the cycle, not because they are incapable, but because they are repeating effort without evolution. And until that breaks, nothing outside will change, because the real limitation was never hard work. It was the unwillingness to upgrade the way they think about hard work. So if hard work alone isn't enough, and if most people are stuck in the cycle of effort without progress, then the real question becomes, how do you actually break out of it? The answer is not to stop working hard. It's to redefine what hard work is meant for. Because hard work is not the problem. Blind hard work is. The first step to breaking the cycle is something very simple, but very uncomfortable. You have to start questioning your effort. Not asking, am I working hard enough? But asking, is my hard work actually moving me forward? This one question changes everything, because it forces reflection instead of repetition. It forces awareness instead of autopilot. And most people never do this. They stay busy, but they never pause to evaluate direction. The second step is this. Stop optimizing effort. Start optimizing outcome. Most people focus on doing more. More hours, more tasks, more struggle. But people who grow focus on something different. What actually creates results. And then they double down only on that. They remove noise. They cut unnecessary work. They simplify their focus. Because clarity multiplies progress faster than intensity ever can. The third step is to consciously shift from time-based thinking to value-based thinking. Stop asking, how many hours did I work today? Start asking, what did I produce that actually matters? Because in the modern world, time is not the currency anymore. Value is. And the people who understand this early move differently. The fourth step is to start building leverage, even in small ways. You don't need to become rich or famous overnight. You just need to start thinking in systems. Can this task be automated? Can this skill be improved to increase my value? Can this effort reach more people? Can this be reused or scaled? Even small shifts in this direction begin to compound over time. And finally, the most important step. You must accept discomfort as part of growth, not failure. Because breaking the cycle always feels strange at first. You will feel like you are not doing enough because you are used to being busy. You will feel like you are slowing down because you are no longer constantly rushing. But in reality, you are finally moving in the right direction. Growth often looks quiet before it becomes visible. So you have to trust the process, even when results are not immediate. Because the truth is simple. The people who escape the cycle are not the ones who work the hardest. They are the ones who wake up early enough to realize the cycle exists and choose to step out of it. And once you do that, your effort finally starts working for you instead of against you. Now let's bring everything together. Because if you've listened this far, you probably realize something important. You were never the problem. You were never not hardworking enough. You were never lazy. You were never behind in life. You were simply following a rule that used to work, but doesn't fully apply anymore. And that's a hard truth to accept, because it means all those sleepless nights, all those long hours, all that effort you put in thinking it would guarantee results. It wasn't wasted, but it wasn't directed the right way either. And that realization can feel heavy at first, but it's also powerful, because once you see the truth, you are no longer stuck in it. And here is the most important thing to understand. You don't need to work harder than everyone else. You need to work with more awareness than you used to. That's it. Small shift, massive difference. Because the moment awareness enters your work, everything starts changing. You stop repeating tasks blindly. You stop measuring your worth by exhaustion. You stop confusing movement with progress. And slowly, you start making decisions differently. More intentional, more focused, more aligned with real growth. And that's when things begin to shift in your life. Not overnight, not dramatically at first, but consistently. Because real change is not loud in the beginning. It's quiet, almost invisible, until one day it becomes undeniable. And by then, everything looks different. Your mindset, your habits, your direction, your results. So if you are in a place right now where you feel stuck, where you feel like you are doing everything but not moving forward, don't give up. Don't quit working. But don't continue blindly either. Pause, reflect, adjust. Because sometimes the breakthrough is not in doing more. It's in finally doing things differently. And if you take just one thing from this video, let it be this. Hard work is powerful, but only when it is guided. Without direction, it drains you. With direction, it builds your future. So choose direction. Choose awareness. Choose smarter effort. Choose growth that actually compounds. Because in the end, it's not about who works the hardest. It's about who understands what their hard work is building. If this message resonated with you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep mindset content. And remember, you don't need to do everything. You just need to do the right things consistently, in the right direction. Thanks for watching.